what up, YouTubers? It's your boy, the Card Tactician. Welcome to another episode of, I guess, Yu-Gi-Oh! This is part 2 to the Gravekeepers September 2012 format. And this is basically going to explain my side deck choices, more in particular the Prohibition, because everything else that's in the side deck is understandable. Basically Soul Drain, Macro Kaz, and Deck Devastation. Those are basics. And those are, simple cards used in pretty much a lot of matchups, so you don't need to explain those. I don't need to explain those, but the Prohibition, I'm going to explain why I use it and why it's a very important strategical tool in the side deck when playing the game. Alright, so for me, I have this idea or this theory that in every deck there are basically 8 power cards that people use, or in some combination they use a few of these cards in the main deck, which Gravekeepers counter normally. And fundamental to what Gravekeepers do, if you apply the use of the Prohibition in the side deck when you go to game 2, you'll be able to shut out most, if not all, of these cards that are being played in the main deck. So the Power 8, which I call them, are Monster Born, Pot of Avarice, Dark Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, MST, Cola Hornet, Mirror Force, and Torrential Tribute. Now, off the bat, when you play the Necro Rally, you stop the Monster Born, Pot of Avarice, and the Cola Hornet. So you've taken, literally, out of the 8, you've taken 3 cards out of the equation so far. Now, if you go into game 2 and you side in the Prohibitions, what you're supposed to call is not some strategic card that they have. What you're supposed to call is basically MST. Yes, in certain situations you can decide to call a problematic card, but the reason why I'd say call MST most of the time if you don't know what the call is because of this. Once you take the MST out, the only outs that a person has in their deck, that they main deck, is Heavy Storm, Dark Hole, Mirror Force, and Torrential Tribute. Those are all mass removal cards. Now, the thing is, in the main deck, most Gravekeeper decks play at least one Starlight Road. I play 2. And the thing is, once you force your opponent to rely on mass removal cards as an out to a certain situation, per se, if you have a Necro Rally and it's preventing them from doing something, they are going to have to fish for that Heavy Storm to get rid of the Necro Rally. Once you force them to go to that out, to that option, that only option that they have, what you do is you negate it with Starlight Road, and then you bring out Stardust Dragon. And then once Stardust Dragon comes out, he basically takes care of all the other mass removal cards. So once they have only 4 choices, but once you go, okay, I'm going to Starlight Road the Heavy Storm. Now, once Starlight Dragon is out, you don't have to worry about Dark Hole, Mirror Force, or Torrential Tribute. That's basically that simple. The only cards that technically that they can rely on is Deprison, Solemn Warning, maybe Solemn Judgment, and that's pretty much it. But the fact is, those are the cards that pretty much change the whole state of the game once your monsters are on the field. So with that, all you need is your Dark Bribes. If you main it, I main 3 because it's just that good. I have 3 Dark Bribes in the main deck and 2 Starlight Roads. So basically, any other Magic card that does not fit in to the Power 8, if it's something that's specific to a deck, like let's say you're talking about Evolsaurs and they play Evil Evolution or some shit like that, the Dark Bribes will handle those cards. It basically says stop, that's it, negate it, you're not going to get your effect and shit, and that's it. Alright, so that's basically the logic of why I think Prohibition is good. I think people should play it in their side decks with this type of logic in mind, because I don't think people think in depth about negating stuff, because the game currently at the moment is not about negating. Well, certain decks negate, like if you're talking about let's say Evolsaurs when they go into Lagyadoka, or if you're just talking about Dino Rabbit that goes into Lagyadoka, that type of negate I'm not talking about. I'm talking about basic. Every deck can run Dark Bribes, and every deck can run shit that says no, stop, and yada yada yada. But most people don't play stuff like that. The only idea that they have for negate is solemn warnings, a judgment, and like a Starlight Road to protect the Brack Road, and that's it. But they never think about individual cards, or they never think about the entire strategy behind stopping your opponent from really doing anything. Because along with this, I run Shockmaster, and once I have Shockmaster come out, he just gives me more control over the field. Oh, I call Magics. Now I technically don't have, for 3 turns, I don't have to worry about any of the what's going on? I don't have to worry about any of the power 8 on this list or whatnot, and then boom, get the power 8. Once I get Shockmaster in the field and I get Stardust, then that's just a wrap. Like, I control anything that has to do with destroying or just Magic in general for those 3 or 4 turns that they're out. Alright, that's it. Take care. Stay tuned for part 3 in terms of the decks in the meta and how Gravekeepers can fight it and stuff like that. That's it. Peace. Deuces.